Welcome to Talking Giants, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. Got a decent amount. Well, I was worried that we weren't going to have anything to talk about, but now it's like we've been bombarded with news, and I have 3 pages of notes and crossing off. We have the schedule release. We got the return of Giants stories. We got rookie numbers. We had some cuts, signings. Hell, we're even going to talk about Kelvin Benjamin on this show. Justin, what's going on?
Bobby Skinner. I mean, officially kind of out of the draft. We recapped everything. We're done. We had Dan Schneider on. Thank you for coming on again. We did a cool thing on Wednesday. May have something to do with the shirt I'm wearing, Hog Molly shirt. Stay tuned for that. I'm kind of taking a breath. Not gonna lie. Now, a lot of things going on, but I feel like these are little itty bitty pieces of news, and I'm taking a breath. But I'm excited to get into it. Schedule release. I probably get more excited than the average person because now I'm starting to map out, am I going to have more warm weather games, more cold weather games? What is my Sundays going to be looking like now that I will be bombarding and acting like a fool at MetLife Stadium again? How are you?
I'm good. I kind of have my 2 games that I'm probably going to go to, which we'll talk about. And we'll do a little let's go through the schedule and see how this season can play out real quick. So we don't have any new Patreons, so we don't even need to waste any time on that. Let's talk about the schedule. Do you want to do a quick, let's go through it, and then we'll give some overall thoughts?
Can I try to guess it by memory?
All right. Week 1 of September 12th.
Week 1 is the Denver Broncos.
Hosting the Denver Broncos. Storyline for that game, Pat Shurmur, which is, we'll talk about it. Let's go through it real quick. I have that down as a W. And I'm going to try and be as realistic as possible in this. I have that down as a win.
Oh, we're doing this? We're schedule picking?
Yeah, very quickly.
Oh, man. Yes, I have it down.
1-0.
I'm also excited, by the way. Just a little bit of a preface. I know this is a little corny and whatnot, but I don't think it is corny because especially if you're from the East Coast, I'm like a sap for like patriotic things. I don't consider myself as like a super patriotic person, but I'm a sap for the national anthem. I went to school in Jersey City and stuff like that. So I'm excited for what they may do, because it'll be 20 years later. And the day after September 11th, and the Giants played September 10th, 2001 against the Broncos. So I'm excited for that storyline and what they may do to like honor everybody. So I'm excited for that.
I think that had a big part in it. And we'll go through storylines. Week 2, do you know what it is?
It's the Washington football team, Thursday Night Football.
On the road. Okay, so here's how I want to attack the NFC East, so this is realistic. I think we should mark down the Cowboys and Washington as splits because the Washington has a good team, and Fitzpatrick is, I don't think he's very good, but he can have a game. So let's call Washington a split. Let's call Dallas a split because they do have a really good offense. And let's say we sweep the Eagles. Does that sound fair? 4-2
sounds
versus
fair.
Division. So let's just mark that down as an L. 1-1. We're on short rest going there. Storyline for that game, Andrew Thomas versus Chase Young again, which, by the way, Chase Young has to face Rashawn Slater and then Andrew Thomas in the first 2 weeks.
Tough.
So tough schedule for Chase Young.
Rashawn Slater?
Yeah. Week 1 versus the Chargers.
Andrew Thomas has to face
Chase Young faces Rashawn Slater.
Got it. Well, I mean, the Giants tackles have some pretty tough tasks the first couple of weeks too.
Not as bad as last year, though. Last year was like a murderer's row. Week 3.
The Atlanta Falcons.
I marked that down as a W. They were, one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL last year. I got that as a W. 2-1. We're all for 10 days of rest. At Saints.
Oh, come on.
I marked it down as an L.
I'm trying to guess the schedule.
All right. Well, we know the schedule. Who cares if you can guess it?
I'm trying to guess it because not everybody knows the schedule like the back of their hand.
No, that's why I have it in front of me on a piece of paper.
I don't.
Here, go see if you can do it real quick.
Okay, see if I can do it really quick. I probably can't. I have to start in order. Denver, Washington. My eyes are closed if you're on the podcast app. YouTube, you can see it. Denver, Washington, Atlanta, New Orleans, Dallas. Week 6 is going to be the Los Angeles Rams. Week 7 is going to be It's going to be on the road against Kansas City. Week 8 is going
Panthers at home.
Panthers, damn it. Week 9 is going to be.
You already screwed it up. It doesn't matter now.
All right, forget it. I failed.
Week 7. Those Panthers can trip you up, but they're not going to trip us this year. So I have the Saints as an L. I get Jameis is real, but they have a really talented team. It's in the dome. So I figured, let's be fair. Let's mark that as an L. At Cowboys, we're going to split with them. I marked that as a W, 3-2. Versus Rams, I have that. The Rams could be Super Bowl contenders this season with Stafford. I put that as an L, 3-3 right now. That sound reasonable so far?
Sounds reasonable.
Versus Panthers at home, Darnold's homecoming. I marked that down as a W. At Chiefs Monday Night Football, which we're going to talk about our Monday Night Football matchups, by the way. I have that as an L. That's like my for sure L of the year. Versus Raiders. Raiders are off a bye. We're coming off Monday Night Football, but I still have that as a W. I do think we're a better team than them. Bye week. We always get the best bye weeks. Like we can complain about our schedule, but our bye weeks are always smack dab in the middle of the season. At back Bucks Monday Night Football, I marked that as an L. So now we're at 5-5.
No, we're gonna beat them.
But let's just they're going to be heavily favored in that game.
They're going to be.
So I got us at 5-5. Versus Eagles win 6-5. At Dolphins, I marked that down as a W. That's a tough game, but I feel like that's a game we're going to win. Like they didn't add a ton. They did well in the draft, but they didn't add a ton in free agency. We've been kind of compared to them, in our from 2020 to 2021.
All depends on their quarterback.
Yep. So I marked it down as a W. That's 7-5. At Chargers, I marked that as a W, 8-5. Their defense isn't good at all, and their offense is relying on big plays, and the Giants shut down big plays. Versus Dallas, we're splitting, so 8-6. At Eagles, 9-6. At Bears, 10-6, and then versus Washington, splitting versus Washington, 11-6. So that was me being like reasonable and 11-6. And there's probably going to be a surprise win in there and a surprise loss. And let's say we lose to Miami or the Chargers or the Raiders. 3 games I marked as a W. That's still 10-7. The expectations for this team are to win. Like, and I think when I finally went through the schedule, that's the conclusion I came to. It's time to win. Like 10-7 should be a realistic goal for this New York Giants team.
Yeah. The Giants, in terms of last year, in terms of the strength of schedule, their defense, and I like to break it up in offense, defense, not just like strength of schedule based on record. I like to look at it based off of how does the offense perform, how does the defense perform. So in terms of last year, the Giants defense had the 3rd easiest schedule in the National Football League, and the Giants offense had the 3rd most difficult schedule in the National Football League. Now, you look at the quarterbacks of which we're facing again, and you kind of do a little bit of a list. It's not that extravagant. Obviously, Mahomes is thrown in there. Obviously, Brady's thrown in there, but there is no quarterback in the NFC East right now. It depends how Dak does. If Dak's putting up the same numbers he did before he got hurt, then that's a different story. But there's no quarterback in this NFC East where we're really shaking our boots. And no matter how well Dak does, if this Dallas defense is still bad, then we have a shot. So, you're right. There is no there is an expectation to go out there and to win. And partially, you could be maybe this is something I was thinking about too. You could be kind of concerned with having 9 away games, 8 home games, because now it's uneven, and there's a couple stretches, towards the latter end of the season, beginning of part of the season, where we have a couple, 2 road games consecutively. And here's what I'm going to say in terms of not worrying about it. I don't know if you are worrying about it, but I'm going to tell you to not worry about it. I've been looking at some data. I've been looking at some articles. Ben Baldwin puts out some good stuff. I was also looking at from Wharton Moneyball. They do accounts, that's like gambling stuff. Home field advantage has been rapidly declining since 1990, and especially declining since 2000. We're basically in 2019, that is with fans in the stands. 2019, it was almost 50-50 split in terms of away teams winning, home teams winning. So home field advantage, I don't know why. I don't know if a lot of people know exactly why, but home field advantage in terms of home teams performing well and better than away teams, that has been kind of dwindling in the NFL. So I wouldn't really get overly concerned with the Giants having 9 away games versus 8 home games. Also, the Giants have sucked at home anyway, so that doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just one game. Now, which game are you most excited for? Like, which game is like, I'm circling, I can't wait to go to this game, or like, I can't wait to watch this game on the road?
Well, I'm not excited. I'm never excited for games on the road because I'm more or less just excited to go to games. So I'm looking at the schedule. Dude, I'm excited to face Washington. I think that's going to mean something. I think that game's going to mean something because really the home schedule isn't really all that glamorous towards the first half of the season. Raiders is like, I feel like Raiders outside of our divisional games is like the most exciting team or at least the most exciting team that you would like, oh, I think that's going to be entertaining, because the Rams game wasn't even that entertaining between the Giants last year. I'm most excited for that Washington game because I feel like that can be a rivalry. If Washington can find a quarterback, that could be a rivalry for years. That can mean something between these two teams.
Yeah. I'm interested for Washington. It's like, what is going to be their QB situation week 18?
Yeah.
Like, what, like, is Ryan Fitzpatrick going to start his first season, like full season since he was with the Jets? Like, that's what Washington's looking at right now, which is pretty crazy. I know everyone wanted the Eagles for the opener, and I did too, but my second want for that was Denver. And I'm happy we got it because, one, Denver might be one of the weaker teams we play. I get they got some good players, but I think Drew Lock is the worst starting QB in the NFL right now.
Well, Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, with those the young QBs usually get like the first. I can see them being like, all right, we're gonna give you a chance, Lock, and if it doesn't work, week 3 they'll go to Bridgewater. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and like the Pat Shurmur thing, like that's a cool storyline. That's a storyline that's cool in week 1. By week 11, like, you know, either one of the Giants or the Broncos will suck at that point, if not both. Don't think we will. And it's like that storyline like doesn't really mean anything. But week 1, like Pat Shurmur returning to MetLife, I think is pretty cool. And we get to see how this new offense rolls out. How does this offense roll out? Do we roll something out new for Pat Shurmur to see? And so we don't have to, you know, hear him snicker in his post-game press conferences, even though he's not going to have one. So week 1 is always the most exciting week of the year, regardless.
And we sometimes forget. And I was thinking about this yesterday as I was like coming home from work. Oh yeah, Saquon Barkley's on this football team. Oh yeah,
I know. I can't wait to. I was thinking about the other day, like I can't wait to just watch a breakaway run. It's like we didn't get any of that last year.
Yeah.
We had no breakaway runs last year.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. Actually, we did. Daniel Jones had those.
Bobby, can we also talk about you leaked? Well, you didn't leak it. You broke the preseason schedule.
I know. I broke the news and nobody cared. I put per sauce, so I think people might have just been like,
yeah, that's
whatever.
Tough.
But I you know,
you should say per me. Here's the preseason schedule.
I just didn't want to say per source because that's so weird, and then per me, it's like I don't know. But yeah, I'm a newsbreaker now.
So home game versus the Jets. I can't remember the last time I went to a home preseason game versus the Jets. Usually they're all away. So I'm excited. I'm getting a bunch I told my friends it's either week 1 against the Jets or week 3 against the Patriots. Week 2 we're in Cleveland. Who freaking cares about them?
I would say week 3 because I think me and you should go to that one.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I mean, I'm going to be down there for a week of camp, so maybe we'll go to the preseason game.
Yeah.
We'll be in Cleveland. That'll be fun with Odell.
Yeah, and then week 3 we'll be back with the Patriots. So how are they going to approach it? Are they going to do like the second preseason game, starters play a half, or the third preseason game, the final preseason game, do the starters play the half? I think they will do it week 2. If the starters are going to play for a longer period of time compared to the other preseason games, I think it would be that second game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And then give themselves the time to get ready, you know, and let their starters sit the last week of the preseason.
Yeah, and also just give the guys the final shot.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Joe Judge not really playing our starters at all too. I can see him being one of those types of coaches where it's like my starters don't play in the preseason.
Well, also
I can also see him playing them 3 quarters too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, even think about this. The Giants, we got mad at it because it was less fun for us on the pod. Giants barely signed any like undrafted free agents. I mean, they have a crap ton of futures deals, guys. But they don't have a lot of guys on the roster where we're like circling saying, oh, we really want to see him like in live action. They probably have a plan of, who's kind of be on the roster because so much of these guys are Dave Gettleman guys, Joe Judge guys already because, Dave Gettleman's how many years into his tenure? So
4.
It's not like we're still.
Kyle Murphy is my one. Like he's like when we do our preseason guys, I'll watch Kyle Murphy as number 1 for me.
Yeah.
So I think I have decided what 2 games I'm going to go to.
Okay.
I think I'm going to be in Tampa for Monday night. That's it's a night game. I don't really need to be online. Everybody's watching Monday Night Football. And then I think the following week I'm going to come up to Jersey for the Eagles game.
Whoa.
Back-to-back games. Eagles, I mean, that's going to be an electric atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think we'll do some type of tailgate thing. I was talking with Chris Anatane on the phone last night. and we are talking about maybe doing some type of joint stuff. So, we'll see what happens. No guarantees, but we're gonna try and do something.
Yeah.
Whether it's a tailgate or whatever, or Saturday night before the game, go out.
I
I
have
don't know.
I have a parking lot K12. I that is my parking lot. I own that parking lot.
K12 owned by Justin Pennick.
I'm gonna
Sponsored
put
by
a
Justin
whole
Pennick.
bunch of this is actually I wonder if I'll get in trouble for this. Put a whole bunch of stickers on the pole that says K12.
No, you can't. They can't prove it's you. Just don't let them see it.
Okay.
I really love that the Bears is the second to last week. That if we are bad, we don't have to hear about tanking at least for 1 week.
Oh yeah, no.
At least for 1 week, we don't have to hear about tanking.
Bears and also strength of schedule. Like Bears have like the hardest schedule in the National Football League, which I love. Every week.
Sunday Night Football too. It would be so nice to win week 1 and then get the root against the Bears on Sunday Night Football.
Man, what a joy.
Which, by the way, we have a really good chance of starting out 1-0. Starting out 1-0, I feel like it's being 1-1 and winning week 1. I feel like it's so much better than being 1-1 and starting out 0-1.
Yeah,
like we haven't won a week 1. Do you remember the last time? It was Zeke and Dak's rookie game in Dallas, 2016.
Yeah,
that was the last time we won week 1. And then before that, I don't remember when it was. It's like every year, not only do we lose week 1, we start out 0-2 every single year.
No, I mean, that was a talking point that I had last year, Bobby. It's like, we know this Giants team probably isn't even going to make the playoffs, but and give us a reason to root for this football team in the month of November. And granted, it's because the NFC East was so bad last year, but just give us a reason to root for this football team in the middle of November. And then, hopefully in December. And that has been the problem with this. That has been the worst part about the Giants since 2016 is that we get 2017, we get to November and there is just, if you are a casual average fan, there is no reason to watch or root for this football team because they just were not fun. Last year, they were fun. The defense was fun. And the guys that are on the team, you want to root for them. That was not always the case. Even though they were losing, that even wasn't the case. So just give me meaningful, rootable, tangible football storylines in the month of November, December that don't have to do with anything in the offseason.
People forget that the 2007 Super Bowl team started out 0-2 though. So.
Yeah.
I've tweeted that out basically every year, the last 3 years since I've been on Twitter. And it never gets good responses when we start out 0-2. We are very angry in the moment. Anything else? I just realized that I said I'm going to the Eagles game, and I'm going to be spending Thanksgiving in New Jersey.
Oh, well, spend Thanksgiving with me.
We'll see. I'll maybe that'll be like a good video. Is like everyone in the company makes a pitch to why I should spend my Thanksgiving with them. And then they'll all probably be like, we don't really want you to spend your Thanksgiving with us anyway, so I'll be stuck with you.
Stuck with me? That's a way to put it.
Maybe I'll just be like a really bad guest at your house. I just like putting stickers on the bathroom walls and.
Oh my, sheesh, will not have it. Will not have it. I mean, we don't have nice paint. Things on the wall, no.
I've spent Thanksgivings alone before. When I was in Minnesota, I was like the only person. I was like one of like 7 kids on campus.
Get Boston Market to go.
Didn't go home. I think I had Domino's.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Snacks. That's very snacks like.
Me and it was literally me and it wasn't alone. It was me and 2 friends from Florida. We got Domino's for Thanksgiving, and we got high and watched Cable Guy. So.
I can't see you in Minnesota. I can't see it. How did that ever happen?
I don't know. I still don't know to this day. So Cable Guy, great movie.
Yeah. Well, Bobby, speaking of kind of getting together, well, do you have any other thoughts on the preseason? Any other thoughts on the schedule? 17-0, 77-0 each game, right?
Let's see. Raiders will be coming off a bye week. We're going to be off Monday Night Football, so that's 6 days of rest versus 14 days of rest. And then there's one other week where we have the advantage. Oh, the Rams are coming off Thursday Night Football, so they have less time to prepare.
Yeah.
So maybe that's our surprise win of the year.
Maybe. Also, a lot of Rams, we saw the Rams last year, so I don't know. I honestly don't even think it matters that much in terms of the rest, home, away. I'm kind of just going into this year be like, football. That's my approach. Football.
That's what I'm all about. Football.
All right.
And like UFC, basketball, hockey,
Yeah.
baseball. I'm into that type of stuff too.
Yeah. So speaking of like getting together and UFC and sports, DraftKings. Big names are headlining this weekend's UFC 262 card. I am getting together with some friends this weekend, and we are watching this UFC 262 card that includes Nate Diaz, Michael Chandler, and there's going to be no shortage of action. And DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC, has a heavyweight offer for this weekend's fight with 101 odds. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be watching it on a TV that has like surround sound. So if you know me, you know I love Bruce Buffer, and I want to be like him when I grow up. So I will be hearing Bruce Buffer on surround sound and injected into my veins. One fighter will be walking away with the belt. Will you be walking away with the cash? There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. Don't worry if MMA is for you. The Knicks are back. DraftKings Sportsbook offers great odds and promotions on basketball, hockey, and so much more. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 when you bet on a main card fighter to win. Place your bet and watch the fists fly this weekend. That's code JOHNBOY to turn $1 into $100 on select main card fighters for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 years or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana 1-800-9-WITH-IT. I think I crushed that. Not gonna lie. I think I crushed that ad read. You know what you're not crushing? You're muted. Boom.
I was actually giving you like credit, so I'm glad that I was muted for it. Now we could just move along.
Yeah, now we can move on.
The return of Giant Stories. You ready?
Oh yeah, cue that music.
Cue the freaking music. The return of Giant Stories. We haven't done it in over a month. And if by the way, if you don't know what this segment is, it's literally we watch these guys' Instagram stories and we talk about it. We get to know about their personalities. We do it in the off season. Since there's, let's have some fun. All right, cue the freaking music. Sanjo Platscummer was at a Yankee game. Leonard Williams was playing with a monkey. Just continues to just wow me that it's always different every freaking week. Alex Bachman was playing pickleball. Jabal Shearer celebrating a birthday and flying a helicopter. I think it was a helicopter. Kenny Galladay was playing Topgolf. Shane Lemieux was also playing Topgolf, but not with Kenny Galladay, but celebrating his birthday as well. Fede Odenegbo moved to New Jersey and he broke his TV while moving. I kind of felt bad, but then I was like, you know what? You make a ton of money and you can afford a new TV. You don't need the best TV. It looked kind of cheap, to be honest. Dante Pettis was at a Lakers game in LA versus the Knicks. O'Shane Zimenez and Lorenzo Carter were at a Nets game versus the Spurs. And I posted on Twitter and Knicks fans got in their feelings. Knicks are in New York. Every time. Stop talking about us, Knicks fans. Gary Slayton asked, honestly, a great question because I feel like the world is split on it. Do you refrigerate your bread? And then I put Leonard Williams again. He was fishing and was, like chasing dolphins in the ocean. Justin, I usually ask you what piques your interest. Do you refrigerate bread?
If I made, no, I don't. But now that I'm thinking about it, I like when I eat my sandwiches, I like when the bread's cold with cold lunch meat.
I mean, but nobody refrigerates their bread though.
No, we also don't have a lot of room. I feel like if you have two fridges, if you have like a kitchen fridge and then like a garage fridge, if you really live that bougie lifestyle, then yes, you do refrigerate bread because you have the room. But if you only have one fridge, there's not enough room.
Now, a trick is if you get a good amount of bread to save it, you freeze it.
I do freeze bread.
That's not the same thing as refrigerating. Like I know some people, it's like you look in their fridge and it just has bread refrigerated. And I don't know. I'm just not about that life. I feel like that's not the way bread was intended. Like,
those people,
bread's not intended to be cold.
Odds are those people don't have a lot of extracurricular, that's what I was about to say, or other miscellaneous things in their fridge. So I have a feeling that they're relatively skinnier, smaller people that it's like, yeah, I'm just going to prioritize putting my bread in the fridge instead of all the other crap. Bobby, Do we think Sandro Platzskummer was a little confused since he's a foreign prospect? Do you think he was a little confused about what was going on at Yankee Stadium? Like, oh, I'm just going to go to a baseball game and I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't think foreign people are stupid like you do. I think they know
That's true.
baseball.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm really
no.
biased right there.
Um, is how big is baseball overseas? Like I remember they did the London series, and was that like a big deal for people in London?
No, I
It's like they play baseball everywhere, you know?
I honestly think it was just, oh, let's go check this out. I don't think it was for people that weren't into baseball. I think it was, oh, this is just a thing that's happening.
Yeah. Because like football is like it's being introduced overseas. Basketball is huge overseas. Like I know they have the Little League World Series, so that probably answers my question. And when I say overseas, I'm basically meaning Europe, just Europe.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I think
obviously it's big in
baseball,
South America.
yeah, baseball's bigger, I think, like in the
Yeah, what
continent
you
of
know, now I'm
Asia.
saying it. Asia and South America, it's like it's bigger there than it is in
Yeah.
America. So
Yeah.
that was a really stupid question by me.
Who was in it? Who was in some sort of helicopter Jace device?
Jabal Sheard, but it's like is Jabal Sheard even on the team? You know, it's like I don't really
Yeah,
want to
it's
give him much
tough.
love.
It's tough. So is he technically on the team, or is he just like,
Oh, he's on the roster right now.
oh, all right, cool, good for Jabal Sheard.
You know, we're post draft. It's like if you're not on the roster, like I unfollowed Alfred Morris after the draft. It's like
Tough.
Sorry, man, you're not on the team anymore.
Rife between Shane Lemieux and Kenny Galladay because they weren't top golfing together.
I know.
Rife? What is a rife?
Yeah, riff. You're just hitting the Rickyisms all day today.
Well, no, that's not all day. It's every day. Syllables and symbols. I read the ad read wrong a couple weeks ago, and I said probably a word that doesn't exist.
I got a word on the next ad read that I'm going to struggle with.
For someone who has a college degree, you wouldn't think it.
School makes you dumb. People forget.
What was Fetty doing?
He just moving to New Jersey.
Oh, I know. I have a note. He tweeted about gas prices in New Jersey. No, he tweeted about pumping your own gas in New Jersey,
which getting robbed.
Which made me think the real crime is how expensive gas prices are, and that's true. It is a crime, but that's funny. If Eddie tweeted out that, I didn't know people pump gas for you in New Jersey.
That law sucks, by the way. It's so annoying.
Oh, I love it.
It's like, hey, it's an outdated law. It's outdated.
Here's $20. Pump my gas.
Well, and it's like I've been at a gas pump in New Jersey, and there's like no one at the gas pump, but they're like rushing you along. It's like, can I chill for like half a second before you're banging on my window?
Oh no, we're a go people. We got places to be.
So Dante Pettis being at a Knicks game and Ocean Simmons and Lorenzo Carter being at a Nets game gives me an excuse to talk about the playoffs starting this upcoming week.
James Harden coming back. Do you believe in synergy?
He played versus Spurs.
Do you believe in synergy? Like the three of those guys need to play for a little bit, hot sec before the playoffs. Do you believe that's a thing?
Yeah, I think it's good to get that. Obviously, round one we're going to be heavily favored regardless. Especially now that if the Celtics lost Jaylen Brown, like round one should be a sweep or 5 games. But yeah, the more games those guys play together, it is important. Like that kind of stuff matters, especially with players who are ball dominant. Even though James Harden has really taken that distributor role and thrived in it, like he's changed his game. He's not doing the Houston sit for 18 seconds and then ISO. He truly is making better players better around him. So I'm excited for the playoffs, and the Knicks fans should be excited about the playoffs too. Here's my plea to Knicks fans. I know it's not all of you. Can you shut up about the Nets, please? Just shut up. Like, we get it. You guys have beaten into the ground that New York is a Knicks town. We get it. We don't care. Now there's a few, but it's like the large majority doesn't care. Let us enjoy our wins in peace. Okay, let me talk about the Nets. Every time I tweet about the Nets, I have people replying about the Knicks. It's like I'm not mentioning you guys. So
Knicks fans were insufferable when they were losing, and now they're even more insufferable now that they're winning.
Well, and they should go at the people who made the LOL Knicks jokes, because
they should.
Knicks for clicks is a real thing. So go at those people. But Nets we're just kind of enjoying our wins. Obviously there is some people who go back and forth. Nets Daily is like the worst account ever. But let us enjoy our success. And if we lose in the finals, rub our faces in it. But right now we're just enjoying winning. Speaking of enjoying winning, let's talk about the Giants again. Let's get back to you want to get back on track?
Yeah.
All right, so rookie camp's coming up, but we have someone who's not a rookie coming to for a tryout. Kelvin Benjamin, he's back. He's back, and he's 6'5", and I don't even know what his weight is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I was about to ask that.
I'm very excited to just see what Kelvin Benjamin looks like. Like, take a picture of him, like beat reporters. Let's see what his size is. The Giants are working him out, which remember he was one of the wide receivers they were going to work out when Corey Coleman and Sterling Shepard got injured on like back-to-back days, and then we got the news Golden Tate was going to be suspended.
Yep.
So it was like, 3 of our 5, the only receivers there, and even Darius Slayton was injured at the time for camp. So Cody Latimer was like our only wide receiver, and Benjamin was supposed to work out, and it ended up not happening. They signed TJ Jones, who I like TJ Jones, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, he balled in the preseason. He had 1 of 4 Giants touchdowns in the first 2 weeks, TJ Jones.
Yep.
With not a lot of chances. Could you see anything coming out of this?
No. Is he going to play special teams?
I don't even get. Yeah, that's the thing, is I don't get the point. Is like, not only do we have our starters at receiver, like we have John Ross. John Ross and Dante Pettis are both two like intriguing players. But I don't know. But Kelvin Benjamin is big, and he's had some good results in the past. It just hasn't been in the past, 5 years.
Kelvin Benjamin has played 1, 3, 6. He has played 7 special team snaps in his career. In his 6-year career.
That's interesting. I'm surprised he even got those 7 snaps.
I mean, yeah, one of them came in 2014. 2 of them came in 2016. 3 of them came in 2017. 1 of them came in 2018.
That's interesting. I wonder where those came from. Maybe that's something somebody can go find. But what's funny is when you do go look at his numbers.
You want to know what it would be? Onside kicks.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You look at his numbers, like his rookie year, everyone thought Kelvin Benjamin was good. He had 73 catches, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. He tore his ACL, and then in 2016 he had 63 catches, 940 yards, 7 touchdowns. Now his catch rate was like 52% at that for those 2 seasons.
That was a Cam Newton thing.
Yes, remember when we went back and looked at the Dave Gettleman drafts last year? Every wide receiver's like their catch rate sucks. It's like, oh, this is more of a Cam Newton thing than it is like Curtis Samuel's catch rate was horrible.
Yeah.
So it was more of a Cam Newton thing. And then they trade him to the Bills in 17. So between those 2 teams, he had 48 catches, 692 yards, and 3 touchdowns on a 61% catch rate, which wasn't great, but those aren't horrible numbers, Like that's probably better than every Giant besides Sterling Shepard this past year. But he was getting bigger at that time.
Yeah, it has to be the weight thing, Bobby. It does.
Well, in 2018, it went off the rails. Like, let's look at his 2018 stats. In 14 games, he had 25 catches, 380 yards, and 1 touchdown. His catch rate was 37%. There's no blaming Cam Newton on that. He got big. Like, he got big, and he became ineffective. He wasn't the red zone threat, the contested threat that he was early. He got big, and he just seems like a lazy player. Like, remember he took all those shots at Cam Newton and stuff. So maybe he's turned it around. Like, guys, people do change and mature. So maybe he's gotten back in shape and is ready to go. But I just feel like what is coming out of this? Like, I there's no harm in it, but I would be surprised if they brought him in the camp.
Dave Gettleman doing a favor for an old friend?
Former first-round pick. How about that? But the thing is you always give these first-rounders chance, where it's like, you know what? And he did have some decent years. It's just maybe the dude has gotten in shape and he realizes, like, if I get in shape and work hard, I can make an extra couple $1 million for my life before I have to go and work some, crappy job.
Yeah. If he gets cut from the Giants, he can go somewhere else. If he does well in camp, if he does well in a preseason game, there you go.
I would love to see him in camp. It would be intriguing. Like, we have Kelvin Benjamin in camp. It's like, okay, like, it doesn't hurt anything.
No.
So I'm hoping they do sign him, because, like, let's bring Kelvin Benjamin in the camp and see what he freaking looks like. Like,
yeah,
so.
How tall is he? He's
6'5". He's a
6'5".
big dude. He'd be the biggest receiver on the team.
He would.
He's bigger than Kenny Galladay.
We like to say that Darius Slayton is a bigger physical wide receiver. He's like 6'1". He's not 6'5". So
I would say put him at tight end, but we got 6 tight ends right now. So we already have too many of those.
My God, Pro Football Reference has him as 245 pounds.
And I think that's on the lighter side, honestly. At least last time we saw him, like he got big, man.
Dude.
Um. So yeah. Speaking of big, though,
Speaking of big, breaking
read the
news.
ad.
Breaking news.
All
Big news coming from Manscaped. We told you like last week that they released the Lawnmower 4.0. We broke the news. We're breaking it to you again, just in case you weren't listening. Lawnmower 4.0, Manscaped, new product. We were advertising the Lawnmower 3.0. That's old news. New news, Lawnmower 4.0. If you use promo code GIANTS, you can get 20% off this new product. We're one of the first to tell you that the Lawnmower 4.0 is a thing. We're blown away by its performance. Bobby, I got it in the mail recently.
Me too. I use it today before the show.
Much better than 3.0, correct?
I wouldn't say much better, but it is better.
Yeah, absolutely. So craftsmanship and the details on the 4.0, they are next level. What makes this trimmer different from all other trimmers? A new multi-function on-off switch. It can gauge a travel lock created for people who like to travel. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Even when you are in a well-lit room, the light certainly does help. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all over through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleeked. Two-toned matte gloss finish, even features a hot, full stamped black chrome Manscaped logo. Show that mower off loud and proud even after you use it. So, Bobby Skinner, if you go to manscaped.com and use the promo code GIANTS at checkout, you can get your total order off 20% and free shipping. I think that's kind of cool. Get the Lawnmower 4.0, get some other products. They have some great products. Thank you, Manscaped.
4.0, baby. 4.0. All right, so rookie camp is coming. Let's hit some quick news. Breland Speaks was cut. Any are you upset, Justin? I know you love Breland Speaks.
Yeah, he never really got the chance to say much, which is unfortunate.
I think Raymond Johnson is taking his place. I think they're like the same type of position player. So they're giving Raymond Johnson a shot over him.
We're excited for him.
Azeez Ojulari. Gary Brightwell. And then who else was the rookies who signed their contract?
Rodarius Williams.
And Rodarius Williams. They signed their contracts. How about that? Also, the rookies got their numbers.
Yes.
Which Sterling Shepard switched to number 3, which is whatever.
It's not whatever. I think that's kind of cool because now that the Giants rookie numbers have come out, spoiler alert, there isn't any funky rookie numbers, which I thought the rookies would be the ones to take advantage of the funky rule, because it's like, all right, nobody has bought any of their jerseys yet because the numbers weren't announced, so they take advantage of it. Nobody did, which the Giants have some numbers that are retired too. Like Kadarius Toney could not have taken number 1 since number 1 was retired,
4.
or number 4, or the number 5 is already used, number 9 is already used, number 2 is already used by Glennon, I think. So I mean that's unfortunate. I had a point to this. Oh, Sterling Shepard number 3. I find that to be more surprising, but I also think it's cool. I think it's very, very cool that he was the one to do it. Maybe you can get that Oklahoma swagger back. Sure, let's do it. But rookies.
Kadarius Toney is number 89,
Bavaro
which seems like a bigger receiver number. But then it's like Steve Smith, Santana Moss. Those guys are both smaller receivers who wore number 89. So rocket like rocket fuel.
Jim on Twitter said he should have been 83, which I do get Sonoris Moss vibes.
Yeah, we don't want Sonoris Moss.
No, we don't.
Vibes.
But I get the Sonoris
Moss.
Moss
Santana
vibes.
Moss.
That's true.
Older cousin Santana. We want Santana, not Sonoris. I loved the Sonoris Moss pick, honestly, at the time. I loved him at Miami. But I also was like a kid, so I wasn't scouting these freaking cats.
You just loved Miami.
Yeah. And not even at the time. I wasn't even a huge Miami fan. I was more Gators. Other numbers. Alton Robinson's 58. Which I love the call for 58 to be retired. It's it's been used so much in the last 20 years. Tay Davis was 58.
Wait,
Casey Kreider is number 58.
Time out. Who's Alton Robinson?
Alton Robinson is the player I took in the redraft who plays for the Seahawks.
Yeah, so you meant Ellerson Smith.
Oh, did I call him Alton Robinson?
You 100% called him Alton Robinson.
Ellerson Smith. How about that? Number 58.
If he is like his other most famous counterpart who wore number 58, he will tweet at
Davis?
me. No, I was thinking Carl
Casey
Banks.
Kreider?
I was thinking Carl Banks. He will tag me on Twitter and he will say, "You just do this for a hobby."
You know, whenever you do go full time, I'm going to quote tweet Carl Banks and be like, actually, this isn't true. That's going to
Not
be
true.
my tweet. So,
Get paid for it.
Ojolari number 51. I don't got any takes on that.
Kyler Fackrell.
I almost said all. Here's what it was: is Aaron Robinson.
There you go.
Screwed me up. He's
33.
33. The 33 is going to look good with the dreads.
Yeah,
Like that double number with the dreads will look good. Brightwell's 37. Williams is 25. So those don't mean anything. So any other opinions on numbers?
Danny King's gonna be getting a Kadarius Toney jersey, and hopefully it works out better for him than other first-round picks that we've taken in the past.
I was rooting for him to be able to get a single-digit one. Yeah, I thought Toney was going to pick 17 since he did wear that his freshman year at Florida.
Yeah,
which he basically changed his number every single year. So anyways, all right, rookie camp. So you have the 6 draft picks, the 3 undrafted free agents, 5 rookie camp invites, which we only know 1, and then 8 players who are eligible. And we're going to talk about one of the eligible players in Cale Garrett because I think he's an interesting player on this team. For the 8 players that are eligible, essentially it just means that you have never been on the 53-man roster for more than 6 games in a year. That's essentially what it means. But if you're on IR, like if you're like if they stash you on IR for 1 year, that counts. So you couldn't go. So the 8 players I have let me pull up the tweet. I have it bookmarked because I didn't write it down. I'm so freaking stupid. I should have freaking looked.
Oh my God. And you were texting me before the show that you got mad at me that when we were talking about the edge rushers, I had to take 10 seconds to look up stats.
But I literally wrote next to it tweet.
But
Tweet, because I have the tweet bookmark. Cale Garrett, Ryson John, Jaron Williams, Nate Wheating, Clayton Thorson, David Moa, Nakia Griffin-Stewart, and Ryan Santosa are the 8 players that are eligible. We're going to talk about Cale Garrett. So, and then the one rookie camp invite is Nathan Rourke, the QB, who here I'm going to do some trivia on you.
Sure.
He went to Canada last year.
Yes.
He was the highest Canadian Football League quarterback drafted since this QB, Justin. And I'm going to give you a hint. He played for the Giants.
Kurt Warner.
Nope. I'll give you one more.
Canadian highest drafted quarterback.
He was
what
drafted
era?
in the 2nd round, 15th overall.
What era?
He played for the Florida Gators. Jesse Palmer.
Jesse Palmer. Yeah, would have never got that.
They were both drafted 15th overall in the Canadian Football League draft. So he was with the CFL last year. Another trivia question. What other current New York Giant was drafted in the same CFL draft last year as the first pick in the 3rd round?
First pick of the third for the Giants?
Yep, he was picked in the first pick of the 3rd round of the CFL draft last year.
Oh, the CFL draft. I have no clue.
Ryson John.
Oh.
Dude, this Nathan Rourke kid put up numbers at Ohio. Like, did you look at the stats I put out on this guy? He had 121 touchdowns in 3 years, passing and receiving. In 2019, he had 20 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions, 867 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. The year before that, he had 23 touchdowns passing, 15 touchdowns rushing. And then in 2017, he had 17 passing touchdowns and 21 rushing touchdowns. Like, this guy, like, he balled out at Ohio University. Now, I don't see him making the team because we already have Jones, Glennon, Webb, and Thorson. I do view him as just like, hey, we need to bring someone in here to throw the ball to Kadarius Toney at rookie camp. But the dude's got freaking numbers. It's kind of like his highlight tape is fun.
Who do you love more? That guy from Syracuse that was on the tape a couple years ago, or this guy?
Oh, Eric Dungy. Eric Dungy, because Eric Dungy, there could have been a role for him if they wanted to like have a Taysom Hill type player. Eric Dungy could have been that, but he just couldn't stay healthy.
Tough. Excited for Nathan Rourke. Oh no, Bobby's sneezing and he muted himself. Why? Oh, why did you mute yourself?
I wasn't. I was looking at my phone.
No, you. Oh damn, and you know you got away with it too because the Zoom camera. I'm mad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nathan Rourke, excited for you, kid. Go out, sling the ball around rookie camp.
Hey, you know what? Guys who have had rookie camp invites have become Pro Bowlers. Adam Thielen he started out as a rookie camp invite. Malcolm Butler, the guy won the Super Bowl. He was a rookie camp invite to start. Chris Harris Jr., cornerback from the Broncos. He was a rookie camp invite to start. And those guys, like, they turned that into Pro Bowl careers, a Super Bowl championship, like, hero moment. Second contract. So, you know what? Like, that's why I like to look at every single one of these guys. And that's why I'm mad we don't know the four others. Because, like, I want to learn about these guys because every once in a while, one of these guys turns into a really good football player. And that's why I love, like, this part of the offseason.
Nathan Rourke can be a running back 3, right?
I don't see it happening with Rourke because QB is just much harder.
I'm being partially sarcastic. He could be running back 3 and then like burst on the scene. We could have like some option toss plays, trick plays. That's fun. That's what we're doing.
And the Giants have had rookie camp invites on their rosters the last 2 times they've had rookie camps. Rob Martin made the roster. John Hillman made the roster. Both of those guys started out as rookie camp invites and then got signed to deals. So
both RB3s, and Nathan Rourke will join them.
So it can happen. I have another trivia question for you, Justin.
Oh gosh.
Do you remember my dead dog's name?
Here you go again, just bringing up your I know how deeply you care about your unfortunately deceased dog Lucy. And you always just bring it up like as a joke. I know how deeply you care about this, and that's why I hate how you have this type of humor. Lucy.
Lucy. Do you know why she died?
Sudden. It was very sudden.
Well,
cancer.
Lung cancer. She smoked cigarettes. Lucy smoked cigarettes.
Oh, this is not a cool way to introduce this.
I'm serious. Lucy died from smoking cigarettes.
And you know what? Second hand or straight up?
No, straight up.
Lucy doesn't have thumbs. Dogs don't have thumbs.
You don't need a thumb. I've seen humans without thumbs that smoke cigarettes. That's not even a lie, like this, Lucy story is. But in her honor, we're trying to get people off cigarettes. Okay? That's what we're trying to do right here. And Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, tobacco alternatives don't suck. They don't suck like Dwayne Haskins. Like, they're good. Research and developed for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. Pomegranate is like, you really don't find that flavor and those type of things, but Lucy has that. Lucy also has lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine and cherry ice, mint, and citrus flavors. I mean, the citrus is nice, like you get that orangey Florida feel. Each and every flavor actually tastes great, and it's convenient and discreet. Products can be enjoyed anywhere, on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym. Now, Justin, I have something else to admit. Lucy smoked cigarettes, but she probably got hooked on them because I used to smoke cigarettes, but I quit. But it was so hard to quit, and I wish I would have had Lucy to help, because Lucy could have made it so much easier instead of me trying and failing and flushing a pack down the toilet and then going and buying another pack, an hour later.
Sure.
So if you want to really, get off the cigarettes, do that. Switch. You can, get off cigarettes, get on Lucy. It's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. This is the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes down to your door each month. It's so simple, and you don't have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down. Talking Giants listeners, go to lucy.co, not .com, .co, and use promo code GIANTS to get 20% off all products on your first order, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use promo code GIANTS at checkout. Also, I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Lucy.co, and be sure to use promo code GIANTS.
It's Lozgen.
Lozgen?
Mm-hmm.
Well, get those Lozgens. They taste great.
You want to know why?
Because you smoke cigarettes too. Wow,
nope.
I'm learning more about you.
Nope, because
your dog smokes cigarettes.
I thought I was going to read this ad pre-show, so I was like, ooh, how is this word pronounced? and I looked it up, and it's Lajgen.
Don't lie. Your dog smokes cigarettes. Smoking wood is going to be real pissed, but I don't care. He needs to hear this. So we'll see.
What other things do we have to talk about?
So we didn't realize we are going to get blitzed with all this information. So I was looking at the roster, and who do you think is going to be linebacker 4? Because Blake Martinez, Tay Crowder, and Reggie Ragland, I say we're guaranteed to make the roster. That means 4 more. So everyone, the other 2 people like that people mentioned is Devontae Downs, who played but played bad, and TJ Brunson, who was a draft pick who essentially played like 3 reps, and they were meaningless reps. He was rarely active. So I went and looked at the linebackers on the roster because I was literally going to look at free agents. There's this player on there that got signed to a futures deal named Cale Garrett, not Jason Garrett, no relation. Cale Garrett, linebacker from Missouri, 6'2", 234 pounds. He came out in 2020, was an undrafted free agent with the Titans. They cut him at 90-day cuts, and then the Vikings had him on his practice squad, which is funny. Us and the Vikings keep switching
Swapping
linebackers.
Yes.
I went and watched this guy and looked at some numbers. This guy could be the surprise player for the Giants. Like Devontae Downs came out of nowhere. Like we had no expectations. Like we didn't even really we look at the roster, but like no one would have someone would have said Devontae Downs. You would have had to think about it. I think Cale Garrett could be the surprise makes the team player of 2021.
Yeah, I mean, usually I feel like those interior linebackers, that's the position out of all positions that guys come out of nowhere. Maybe a wide receiver does well during camp, but our wide receiver depth chart's kind of set, right? So a lot of this, you look up and down this roster, a lot of our roster is kind of set. Offensive linemen don't typically pop off the screen, but interior linebacker, that is a guy that can pop off the screen. Cale Garrett I was watching some videos, and the Tennessee Titans beat reporters liked him for whatever reason, kind of like how the Giants beat reporters, they liked Devontae Downs and they liked talking about Devontae Downs. Titans beat reporters were kind of all over Cale Garrett. He was cut, brought on to the Vikings. If you just look up pictures of Cale Garrett, by the way, he looks like every male actor in a country music video. Not the one who is singing the song, but if there is an actor in the country music video, that is what he looks like. So the one picture that I'm specifically referring to, there's like a Missouri varsity jacket that he has on. He has a scruffy beard. He has like bright green eyes and like kind of dirty blondish hair. And that is exactly like I had this girl in high school, made out with her on the back of my truck, setting for a country music video. Cale Garrett's also
making out with high school girls.
He's also a good football player. What did you just say to me?
You said never mind. It was a dumb joke. So, and this is a position that I always say, if you were the 4th linebacker to start camp, you're going to play. You're going to play every year because it's a position that players just get injured. Like it's just like, and what happened last year, Justin? David Mayo got hurt. Tay Crowder got hurt. It is every single year. This is a position where the 4th guy on the list is going to get playing time because there's always injuries at the position every single year. So I think Cale, if you told me like surprise linebacker 4, it'd be Cale Garrett because, Devontae Downs got benched. Like they saw him, they let him play, and he sucked, and they benched him. TJ Brunson, I'm not a big fan. We have no idea what the Giants think when he's really got no play time. So Cale Garrett could do it, and he was like a good player at Missouri.
Yeah, he was in 2018. He was at the end of the 2018 season. He made the 2nd All SEC team, and he made PFF's 1st team in the SEC. And 2019, he was off to a awesome start. He had 40 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 3 interceptions. Two of those interceptions were returned back for a touchdown. And then he had how many fumble recoveries he had? He had 1 fumble recovery. That fumble recovery was returned back for a touchdown. Played 5 games. 5 games put up that production, tore his pec. And then I'm sure that's kind of where his draft stock kind of plummeted. But he would have been drafted if he played his final senior year at Missouri, which he is he has 4 years of experience. He was a 3-year, 2-year starter, was going to be a 3-year starter. So this is a guy that would have been drafted. And it's very strange, Bobby, when you look up like his kind of combine measurements, and that that funny little
He is the
circle.
weirdest combine I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's like one of the slowest linebackers when it comes to 40-yard dash, but he's one of the most agile linebackers when it comes to like the 3-cone drill, the 10-yard shuttle, 20-yard shuttle, et cetera, et cetera. So he's agile, but he's slow, which, hey, I mean,
He literally had the slowest in 2020. He had the slowest combine. He had the slowest 40 time for linebackers, like this slowest with a 4.92.
yeah.
And then his shuttle was not only first for linebackers, it was 7th in the entire combine. Every cornerback, wide receiver, safety, tight end. He had the 7th fastest with the 4.13. And then in the 3-cone drill, he had the 11th fastest in the entire combine and the 2nd fastest for linebackers. So it's one of the weirdest combines I've ever seen, where it's like his 40 time is just dirt slow. And then his agility times, which is like you usually don't see discrepancies. Like you'll see a guy that's like runs a great 40 time, but his shuttle's not great, like maybe like a DK Metcalf style. But you rarely see a guy have an elite, shuttle and 3-cone, and their 40 is the worst. It just doesn't make sense. And like you said, at Mizzou, like he put up numbers, in 2018 and 17, had over 200 tackles, 16 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, and that's what he does. Is he's a do-it-all type of linebacker.
Yeah,
like he plays the run well. He's even got like a little bit of pass rush ability, and he has good instincts and coverage. Like you mentioned, the interceptions. I was watching Missouri versus West Virginia. He caused another interception by getting in a throwing lane, tipping the ball up, and then the safety got it, and that was returned for a touchdown too, by the way. So like, I think if I were to do my 53-man roster, I think I'd put him as inside linebacker 4, over TJ Brunson and Devontae Downs. So I just, Cale Garrett, I think that's more of the story. Keep an eye out for that guy. Keep an eye out for that name in training camp, because
look at us.
Out of all these random players I went through, I was like, Cale Garrett, he's the one that sticks out to me.
Look at us. We're in the month of May, and we're telling you a name to keep out for in training camp.
I'm excited for him. I'm excited for Cale Garrett. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I'm excited. And he did all those numbers playing next to Nick Bolton, by the way, too, who was a 2nd-round pick. So I am excited for Cale Garrett. Get healthy, my man, and be a player. He doesn't even have a Twitter. He does have an Instagram, but he doesn't post much on there. So Cale Garrett, let's see it. Let's see what happens to this with this dude in camp. I would rather have him than TJ Brunson or Devontae Downs. How about that? And I bet you he can play special teams too. Like, he's a linebacker. Linebackers can play special teams. Yeah. So linebacker, special teams, Cale Garrett. Cale Garrett for linebacker for 2021. I have found my new campaign.
There you
go. Hint. Next episode, we're having a player interview.
Ooh.
So we're gonna tell our Patreons once we close out, but just keep your eye out for it. We'll put it out on Monday who it is, and then Tuesday we'll put out the interview. It was a fun interview with a guy we like a lot on the team. So keep your ears and eyes open for that.
And he also likes us. We can say that.
Yeah, he likes us. He likes
us.
He's Team Talking Giants on Talking Giants versus the World. So we appreciate you guys. We'll be back on Tuesday with that interview. We'll also do a little rookie camp wrap up. I'm excited to watch the beat reporters at rookie camp. I'm very excited for them. So we appreciate you guys. Until then, let's go Big Blue.